my name is Jonathan Soul, and welcome to the Nevins Train. Today we profile the life of Michael Rice Nevins. What a guy. He was one of 19 children born to his mother. He would fight in the Mexican-American War, in the Civil War. He would have not one, but two family members struck and killed by lightning. His wife would die young, and he would write amazing poems of sorrow and anguish that were published in the local paper. And that's not even the whole story. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, let's place Michael Rice Nevins in the family tree. Michael Rice Nevins was my grandmother's grandfather, but she would never meet him. He would die in 1899, and she wasn't born until 1904. But her father, Osro, of course, would know his father, and there are letters from Kansas, which I'll show you, to Michael Rice. So they had a close relationship. As I mentioned, Michael Rice is one of 19 children born to George and Catherine Nevins. So let's take a look at that. So the sources of information that I have for this are other ancestry family trees. And I've come to know that sometimes they're incomplete or incorrect in a variety of different ways. So it's possible that there may be some duplication here. That said, I think what we can fairly certainly say is that George Nevins and Catherine Rice were married when she was 17 around 1811, and then they began having children. Look at this list of children that seems to just go on and on. There actually is a Michael Rice Jr., born in 1814. I think our Michael Rice is born in, let's see, there he is, 1826. And oh my gosh, good God, man, give your wife a break. But he didn't. And so Catherine Rice would have her last child in 1828 at the age of 34. And I'm going to assume, due to complications at birth, she would die a few weeks later. Here are their tombstones. They are buried in the Nevins family cemetery in the middle of Indiana. Catherine Rice and George Nevins. George would be struck and killed by lightning in 1853, seeking shelter from a storm underneath a tree. So that would be one of the first tragedies for Michael Rice. Now, I don't know what life was like for Michael Rice as one of however many children growing up as a pioneer in Indiana. But what we do know is that he was extremely articulate, well educated, a writer and a leader, and a wonderful father, as best we can tell. So he was quite the guy. I'd like to share with you this amazing biological account, this bio, that apparently was initially written in 1888 as part of the historical record for Kentucky, where they were in Pierce City. So take a moment to read this. It's very fascinating. Michael Rice would marry Susan Jane Van Camp in 1851. This would be after his service in the Mexican-American War, where he would serve with the Veterans Association, but before his service in the American Civil War, where he would also serve with the 4th Iowa. Let's take a look at his children, and I'd like to point out specifically O.J. Nevins. Now, my great-grandfather Osro was born in 1857. He would have a younger brother, Okama, Okoma. I'm not sure how that's spelled, honestly. I've done some searches online, and the closest explanation to a name like this is that it's a misspelling of Oklahoma. Um, it may be Native American term or word, who knows? He would go by OJ. Not long after OJ was born, Michael Rice Nevins would sign up with the 4th Iowa Infantry. Just as a note, this would be what was inscribed on his tombstone. So I think his service there was special to him. Here's a picture of the Iowa 4th, and not sure if Michael Rice is in this photo or not. I'm not sure that he is. Michael Rice's service in the Civil War would end in 1863, and he would be discharged. He would go back home, and at some point, the family would move to Pierce City, Missouri, a thriving railroad hub. They would have Nancy Jane in 1864, George Nevins, who would die after only a year, and Manly R. Nevins, born in 1869. In August of 1881, Michael Rice's wife, Susan Jane Van Camp, would pass away. Please take a look at this amazing letter to the paper announcing his wife's death and this poem of anguish and sorrow. I'm going to recite one of the last phrases. Oh, beloved, oh, must they leave us, and must they in the cold ground lay? Oh, her beloved ones, must she leave them and forever go away? And our children, has not she nursed them? Some of them have gone before her to that unknown world of spirits, and we soon will have to follow, for the grave must be our home. Now, while doing research on Mike Nevins, as he frequently appeared in the paper, I came across this little article, and I'm going to put two and two together. I think that this article here, identifying a Mike Nevins who was a sitter, along with this amazing photograph of Mike Nevins, go together. I think this is the photo that was taken of Mike Nevins in January of 1882. And you just look at that face, you look at that smile, and you know, you really got a character, and I think a guy you would really like. In August of 1882, Mike Nevins would compose and publish another poem of sorrow. I am wandering. I am wandering. I am wandering there alone, all alone, thinking of my beloved one that is dead and gone, dead and gone. You know, after doing so much research on your ancestor like this, you become emotionally close, and my heart breaks because in August of 1882, he writes this letter of sorrow, and tragedy would strike again in October when lightning would strike the family barn and his son, OJ, Okama, would die along with several horses. And the account is quite tragic. As life must, it goes on. Uh, Michael Rice Nevins would go on to become president of the Southwest Missouri Mexican War Veterans Association. I'm going to post right here a couple of quick articles as his role as president. Um, and then another somewhat hilarious article about Michael Rice being arrested for stealing a pig. Oh no, Michael, what happened? Oh, I'm sure it was just a silly misunderstanding. Um, Here is a blurb where Michael Rice gets a letter from his son in western Kansas. I'm pretty sure that's Osro, letting him know that the wheat is making large yield in his locality this year. So news from western Kansas from his son This is from 1891, which would be a difficult year in Kansas, the decade of the 1890s. Michael Rice Nevins would pass away in February of 1899. In his obituary, which is a lovely account of his life, talks about his service in the Mexican War and in the Civil War. And it says he was taken with the grippe, also known as influenza, several weeks ago, but still came to the city as usual and always remarked, "Oh, I will wear it out." But he didn't. And it says here that people all over the Southwest will regret to learn of his death. Michael Rice Nevins, what a man, what a life well lived in all aspects. So, until next time, this is the Nevins Train.
Way down yonder in the state of Arkansas, where my great-grandpa met my great-grandma. They drink apple cider and they get on a jag, and they dance all night to the salty dog rag. They play an old fiddle like you never heard before. They play the only tune that they ever did know. It's a ragtime ditty and the rhythm don't drag. Now here's the way you dance to the salty dog rag.